Namaste, and welcome to our continuing series on homeopathy with our beloved Dr. Pachegaonkar. Today, we take up the arterial circulation.
It's very interesting to know the volume of this system. The vessels, if we just keep in one length, the linear length of all the vessels together would be like double the periphery of our earth.
Double the periphery of?
Of our earth.
Really?
Yes, so 100,000 kilometers it would be. And this circulation is such that heart is such a tiny apparatus. It's very small. In each beat, it emits about 70 milliliters on an average. It can be 60 to 80 depending upon the need per beat. So in 1 minute per minute, how much blood must be circulated? It is beyond like 6 to 7 liters
In 1 minute?
per minute. So in one day, can you imagine? It would be around 6,000 to 7,000 liters in one day the circulation takes place. And in such a tiny 5 to 6 feet body,
Yes.
we have the network of vessels and where continuously the blood is flowing from heart to the periphery and again from periphery to the heart. So in this, the oxygenated blood, actually arterial circulation means the vessels carrying blood away from heart. So all these systemic arteries, there the purified or oxygenated blood is pumped, and whereas there is pulmonary artery which carries the deoxygenated blood to the lungs. So both are called arteries. See, in this, generally the left ventricle of heart is connected with this systemic arterial system from aorta to the periphery, and they go on getting bifurcated and it becomes a fine network and it turns into branches of artery, and these small branches also then terminate into arterioles, and these small arterioles then spread the network of capillaries, and capillaries are the junction between venous circulation and arterial circulation. So through capillaries, the capillaries have permeable membrane where the contents, because of through diffusion, are allowed to go out, and the other material which body has rejected like carbon dioxide and all, it accepts. So this permeable membrane is with capillaries. So our blood is never coming into empty space. It is always through vessels which travels, and through vessels, once it travels to the terminal part of arteries or arterioles as capillaries, then it goes to the venous system for again collecting to the heart. So this circulatory system is such a wonderful system that per minute, imagine our blood volume of adult male human being would be around 5 to 6 liters maximum, and each drop of blood is circulated every minute. Imagine how the oxygenation is taking place and again deoxygenation is taking place. So, and this again tirelessly the heart works for whole life. Once it stops, the life stops, the animation goes off. So our heart is wonderful apparatus where with each beat it is emitting around 70 ml of blood in the system. Again same amount it is collecting for sending it to lungs for oxygenation. And in one day, how many beats one would get? around 100,000 beats every day in 24 hours. So this arterial structure is actually, it's a hollow structure, but it has three layers of walls. Internal wall is again a sensitive mucosa, whereas the mid wall is full of muscles where it can contract and relax, and all along the elastic fibers are there, where it has a contractibility and flexibility is there, so it can accommodate more blood, it can have more flow,
It can expand and
expand
retract.
and retract as per need. So the vasoconstriction or vasodilatation, and the whole phenomena is well governed by the system. The hormones are there, and it's such a closely network. And heart also has a wonderful mechanism for controlling the heartbeats, what we call, pacemaker. Every heart has a natural pacemaker which governs the heartbeat. So if person is exerting, running, or the athletes who run, there the requirement of blood supply is more, the oxygenation has to be more rapidly done, so there the heart starts beating fast, and this is all well governed, and that's what we see, that uh, through ECG we can work out like how heart is functioning. So heart has like four chambers. On right side there is right atrium and right ventricle, where the impure blood, we can't call it impure, but deoxygenated we can call it, that is collected, and through atrium it goes to the ventricle, and from ventricle it goes to the lungs, and from lungs the atrium receives oxygenated blood, and this oxygenated blood comes to left ventricle, and from there it is pumped into the system. Therefore the strongest part is this ventricle, where it pumps blood to the system. And these arteries we have seen, with such a pressure the blood is pumped, that once it was a case where the femoral artery, artery passing through the thighs, this artery was punctured near the groin, and the spring of the blood was around 10 feet tall. Such a force. And it's a wonderful mechanism, and everything is governed. And both sides, how it is distributed. You see, these arteries are planned in such a way that essential parts do get blood supply as and when required as per the need. In brain the blood supply is monitored in such a way that it has a mechanism where there would be collateral circulation. By chance one side is getting slowly blocked, the other side, other half side, can compensate, and that blood, that part also can get the blood supply. So right, left, wherever, there is always an arrangement of collateral circulation. If there is a sudden embolism or a block, it would be fatal, or it may have complications for that part. But if slowly the block is occurring, definitely body has mechanism to bypass that block and have an alternative circulation, and this is possible because of the finer network of arteries and the potential to develop collateral circulation. And it's a wonderful network, and it's a very intelligent system, that wherever there is a ischemia, a lack of blood supply, and wherever there is ischemia, this formation of collateral circulation gets stimulated. So there are some dormant vessels which have capacity to become very perfect vessel, arterial vessel, which can supply blood to the organ. Otherwise, they are just dormant. Even in heart also there is coronary circulation. It is again arterial circulation, but this coronary circulation, it's a branch to heart itself. So heart is monitoring, governing the movement of the blood element, but itself can't draw blood from that. The blood has to come to aorta, and from there the branch goes to the heart circulation, left and right side, and then it branches out. And there also there is potential that it can develop collateral circulation, what we call anginal pain. Sometimes these anginal pains are there where there is a sort of a ischemia, transient ischemia in the organ, and that transient ischemia gives rise to discomfort, and there would be vasoconstriction, vasodilatation governed, and more blood supply will be drawn from alternative sources. And if this continues, the person can develop perfect bypass, natural bypass, with collateral circulation developed. Only condition is that if the block is slow. There are cases where the carotid, the artery which supplies to the head, neck and brain, it is 100% blocked, but the circulation is effectively there in the brain. Same way, sometimes these arteries also, especially at the junctions of shunting, there occurs sort of a laxity in arterial muscles, and these muscles, they develop what we call a degenerative change called as aneurysm. Aneurysm, where the vessel expands like a balloon, but it doesn't constrict again to the baseline, and therefore there what happens, the blood pressure also drops because the vessel is bloating out, and then that definitely will hamper the blood supply to the distal part. And even this phenomena, if body has mechanism to recognize it, and then blood will be drawn from the other canal, alternative source, or collateral circulation will be effective, and this will be compensated. So this arterial network carrying blood from heart is well governed, flow system, where according to need, that is monitored, well monitored, and body gets it. And this circulatory system, imagine in lungs, this pulmonary artery carries blood to the lungs, and through the network of pulmonary arteries, actually the blood is allowed to flow through capillaries in alveoli. Alveoli are the smallest particles or elements in lung. It is a parenchymatous tissue, and the oxygenated air what we inhale provides oxygen for this blood to catch it, and then it emits out carbon dioxide, which is undue, carried from the tissues. And imagine every cycle, we have around 15 to 16 cycles of respiration, inhalation and exhalation. We inhale and exhale 500 ml of air, and from that we get oxygen, and we emit carbon dioxide. So composition of air within within few seconds changes. What we exhale has a lot of carbon dioxide, and what we inhale, a lot of oxygen is absorbed by our alveoli, and that oxygenated blood is collected, it goes to the heart chamber, then in atrium, right atrium. When it goes to the left atrium, it goes to ventricle for pumping. So it is not pumped directly from atrium. So atrium are upper quadrants of heart, where the blood is received by the heart, and ventricles are lower quadrants where the blood is pumped outside. The left one pumps purified blood or oxygenated blood, the right one pumps yet to be purified or oxygenated blood to the lungs. So this way, this whole network of arterial vessels is wonderful thing we have to study. And here we have seen that major defects in the arteries definitely lead to, serious disorders like gangrene. All we have seen where there is a continuous lack of blood supply, and if it can't be made up through collateral circulation, the tissues will have slow death and there would be gangrene. So we always see that each and every artery is pulsating properly or not. We have seen a case of a diabetic foot or a gangrene where the dorsalis pedis artery stops pulsating with the that. But now, because of imaging technology, we have a color Doppler study where it gives you the exact amount of flow it undertakes. So it's wonderful to understand the mechanism of blood flow through arteries and then act accordingly. So for doctors, this has gone very easy now with the inception of color Doppler study.
You spoke about some of these areas that were dormant. How do they come into action?
See, that's the mechanism. No, we have a mechanism where if there is a ischemia or need of blood supply, then see all these vessels are a collapsed tubules. See, the name artery also is like a hollow pipe. And during postmortem or in dead body, if you see the arteries, it is all empty because the blood is not there. They are all empty. So these are all hollow pipes, but they are collapsed. So as and when needs, imagine like need of blood supply would increase. So small arterioles which are dormant, they also become more active and then they supply more blood. And from there the blood actually they extend. It is not that the arterioles are growing in length. They have dormant terminals which develop into full arterioles carrying blood to the area. Dormant in the sense they are in collapsed state.
Yes, collapsed state, yes. Thank you so much. Very enlightening. Namaste.